Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, but sometimes misinformed. Today is a unique day. I'm sitting alone, not completely alone. I'm sitting alongside Jimmer. Rio is out sick today. He got the wonderful vid, so he'll be out for a little while doing some isolation type shit. But shout out to Rio. Get better. Let's get this shit going again, man. But again, sitting alongside Jimmer, we've got a lot to talk about. We're covering the weekend, a lot of college games, a couple upsets, and the NFL just looks weird this year. It feels wrong in a lot of ways. But we'll touch on everything, obviously. But to get the party started, Jimmer, what's going on out there, man? What do we need to know about?
Yet again, we have so much news, my friend. And when I am going to say that what we mean by self-isolation, we know what that little Mexican's doing up there.
100%.
Playing video games and playing with his joystick. So there is that. Number 1, Bama squeaks by number 11, Florida, 31-29 in the swamp.
Yeah, I tell you what, Florida, I think Florida's better than we thought they were, but at the same time, Bama, they started off, they were up 21-3, Jimmer. I don't know if you know that. 21-3 in the first, I think it was the first quarter. And Florida just put it on them after that. They were barely able to squeak out. They were able to run the ball. They were able to pass the ball up the middle. Like, Alabama just didn't look right. Maybe it's a fluke, but I honestly think Florida's better than we thought. And they've got to play Georgia here at the end of October. That could be a huge game.
Won't that be a game?
Yeah.
No, this, it is, I'm going to tell you right now, it is a huge difference having fans in the stands. You go, shout out to obviously Florida and them boys down there. The swamp is one hell of a place to go down to and
Damn right.
get down on. So lucky they came away with a victory on that. One
Very
hell of a
lucky.
test for them though, you know.
Big time.
USC plane tips backward on tarmac. Nobody was injured in it, but still scary, right?
So scary.
I'm not a flying guy anyway, man. I'm telling you, I've flown probably 4 times, and the last time I did was so turbulent, so crazy, so shitty that the next time we went out to Vegas, we drove, and that is one hell of a drive, people. We are in Iowa, one hell of a drive.
One hell of a drive. Did you drive through Nebraska?
Yeah, that shithole.
That's the worst in the country.
Yeah. They're in Kansas.
Kansas, yes, yep. We actually drove through that together with my brother, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Kansas, you're definitely the ugly stepbrother of Nebraska, so you are there.
Yeah, it's 1A, 1B right there for sure.
Yeah, there's so little to see. I guess there was more to see in Kansas once we hit a certain point. We ran into more towns. I will give them that. After you go past Lincoln, there's nothing.
Nothing. It is fucking, it's terrible.
It is. That's where you wish that your boy Elon Musk had those self-driving vehicles at the time, because you could
take a nap.
Just take a nap, because it is a straight. Short-handed San Francisco loses 3 running backs in their win. They lose Elijah Mitchell, Jermichael Hasty, and Trey Sermon. Elijah, it looks like he might still be able to play this week, though. But Hasty has been ruled out.
Yeah, they are very much saying, Baltimore, you got some injuries, huh? Hold my beer.
Right.
I got you.
Yep.
I think the thing is, it probably doesn't matter. They've got such a good push off that offensive line that whoever they put back there tends to be successful. Again, the Baltimore comparison is really good. Doesn't matter who's back there; they can get 5-6 yards of carry.
Yeah.
They'll probably be fine, but damn, where are they looking now? I don't even know.
I have one right now. Why in the hell does Adrian Peterson have a job?
100%.
The dude can still run the rock, I promise you. Look at his game tape.
He could get 1,000 yards in San Francisco for sure.
And he can do it in Baltimore too.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
especially the way they run. They run straight up and down, you know.
Yep.
Carson Wentz injures not one, but both ankles, and Colts lost to the Rams.
Man, I don't know. That's tough. He can't catch a break. He's made of glass. I don't know what you can say, but that's a tough break for them. They thought, they were really hoping he's the future, but fuck, he's forever injured, right?
He is. And that's what's too bad. Like him on his high side, he's MVP-esque. He has shown it. Right? When he is right, when he's clicking, standing upright, no injuries, he plays at an MVP-esque level. In fact, what was that? A few years ago, he all but had the MVP in the bag come week 13 or 14, and
then flew in this one guy.
Yep, that's what it was. Fields replaces injured Dalton, and his own self-assessment for that game was can play better and win over Cincinnati. Do we need to talk about that one a little bit too? For a couple reasons, not just Fields.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is Fields. But they did squeak one out. They got the dub. That's true.
The really bad Bears, which you're making me defend, even though I'm a Viking fan.
Yeah, they're not. I'm holding to that opinion. They're not.
And
good,
Rio's super really good Cincinnati Bengals until he wants to flip it around 2 seconds later and say they're bad. I don't know.
Yeah, that was an awkward argument.
That one was. He literally flipped back. I'm like, what didn't you just say? You got to stick with it.
Be consistent.
But I'm ready to see him go. I think he's gonna. By the looks of it, looks like he's probably going to. Supposedly, Matt Nagy said that if Dalton is healthy, that he will be. He said that off the air, though. So, and what I mean by they had their media thing, and he wouldn't give a straight answer. So weird. I listened to it, but then one of the reporters put on their own Twitter that said he did answer later and clarified that if Dalton was healthy, he'd be starting. But why? But why?
I don't. It doesn't make sense. Just do it, man. But I tell you what, one big problem is the play calling. I don't know if you saw this. It became viral on all the socials, but they showed Allen Robinson's his route tree, and he was never running anything more than 8 yards, 10 yards. This is exactly what happened to DeAndre Hopkins last year with Arizona. They never gave him room to actually make some plays and do things. And if you're a Allen Robinson owner in fantasy, this is a big reason you're pissed off. It's they're not even getting a chance. It's a bunch of slant routes, wheel routes, just dumb shit. And that just speaks to the overall play calling, which is one of the reasons, Jimmer, I'm not high on the Bears at all,
Yeah, I mean, Allen Robinson just hasn't, I don't know, for whatever reason, doesn't get the respect year in, year out. He ends up being a top 10 to top 15 receiver every single year, even with shitty quarterback play. I mean, even back with his magical year or Jaguars' magical year with shitty-ass Blake Bortles. And he still produces. So I don't know what everyone's problem or every organization's problem is with this guy. It would not hurt my feelings to see him with Minnesota, actually. But we have a bunch of receivers. So
yeah, we're sitting good. But so you agree, though, his upside's definitely better if Fields gets in the game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Have Fields practicing all week long with the number ones. There's a huge difference between you throwing a guy in and someone taking judgment off of that small amount.
Definitely.
When you didn't take the how many ever snaps, it was 53 snaps during the week of first team reps. When you plan for your game, when your game plan is around that, and the rookie gets reps at it, you're going to see a whole different, conclusion to the game.
Agreed.
Zach Wilson throws 4 interceptions in first meeting with the Patriots.
Yeah, Belichick is basically unbeatable against rookies, right?
Yeah.
And he just proved why right there. 4 picks. There was a point in the game where he was, I think the number was 4 of 20 with 4 interceptions. Just a rough out. And the Patriots, they're looking every game, they're looking a little better. So this, I think in a couple weeks, Brady comes up. I think that's looking like a better game than, it would have been last year or something like that. So awesome. Mack Jones looked good too. I don't know if you saw that play where, I know I'm totally going off topic here, but Mack Jones, I'm trying to think if it was if he passed it or if it was a handoff. Either way, it was a short play, turned into a big play. They got close to the end zone, and Mack Jones, it was actually one of the guys that ran down and pushed him into the end zone.
There we go.
He's a player. He's coming to play. He's looking good with New England, and that was huge. But Zach, he just had a rough out, man.
He is, and I mean, I think it was even week 1 when he threw his first touchdown pass as a professional. They tried to hand him the ball. multiple times, and he didn't want it. He kept trying to pass it back. He's like, I'm not here for the little stuff. I'm here to produce, to win.
He fits that system.
And to get better.
Yeah.
I did hear, and there's no factual basis in what I'm about to say, but I did hear red zone went down for 5 to 10 minutes Sunday. In that 5 to 10 minutes, Zach Wilson threw 2 of his interceptions. So,
ouch.
And I'm a Zach Wilson guy. I really am. But like that, ouch town.
Man, both of the New York franchises just ruin quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know? That's tough.
Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham injures Achilles and says he's out for the season.
Yeah, that's tough, man. They looked really good on the defensive end, and they still didn't look bad against San Francisco. But I think when he got hurt, it was later in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess more to come. We'll see, but that's definitely a big blow to Philly.
On a positive note for them Eagles, they have signed your guy, one of your preseason faves there, bust-out players, defensive end Josh Sweat, to a 3-year extension the team announced on Saturday.
Big deal. That's awesome.
So you must have been reading something that was correct, right, the whole time? I thought, in context, I thought that he was mixing up the wrong Sweat, as in I thought he meant Montez Sweat from Washington, because we were breaking down by division, and I was like, Danny, that's Montez Sweat from Washington. He's like, no, I swear, maybe. And we look it up. Yeah, by God, there's a Josh Sweat on there, and evidently he's not too bad.
Yeah, got some dollars.
Dolphins quarterback Tua carted off with a rib injury. I think last time I seen, he's still just day-to-day. So, luckily it wasn't anything too serious. Because we seen what happened when he didn't come back out.
Yeah, awful. Now, we got to give some credit to Buffalo, though, too. That defense looks really good the first couple games. So, they played Pittsburgh, whose offense is shitty, in Miami, who had that issue. I get it. But
yep.
That was a blow. I also called Buffalo, so I'll take credit for that. I said they were going to blow out Miami, and they did. They beat the shit out of Miami. Miami's not going to be good the rest of the year.
Hold on. This is like calling bank. Did you call shutout? I don't remember you saying it.
Did I say it out loud?
Oh,
No.
Jesus. That's what we're going to go with. Sources say La'el Collins' suspension appeal cites excused absences for missed drug tests. One of them was the team. If I remember correctly, one of the team let them go early one day. Can't remember what it was for off the top of my head. And then the other one was he was let go early one day. I do believe his uncle or someone in his family passed away. So is it a little different than just finding out that someone, there's no reason, like they just didn't show up? Maybe.
The family member passing away, that's tough. You never like to hear that.
Yep.
But as far as the other one, it seems like the team's got his back. So
yeah, maybe
he better stick around.
Yeah. Does that mean he takes a hometown discount when it's contract time?
Hey, I think that's what they're banking on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry suffered a knee injury on the opening drive Sunday, and was ruled out against Houston. MRI scheduled, but it looks like it's just a sprained MCL so far. Last time I seen.
All right. Well, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. They beat Houston, but they didn't look great against Houston, and everybody and their mom said Houston's going to be dog shit this year. So,
including me.
Yeah. So I think him being out is a big deal, and it's really. Hopefully the team doesn't do this because I don't want to see him come back too fast, but I think that's going to put more pressure on OBJ to get back because they need that. They need some more weapons out there, man. Hopefully they use them right too, I guess. But
I must not have put this in here. Didn't Tyrod get hurt?
Yeah, I thought you'd get to that next, but yeah,
No.
Tyrod's out too.
No, okay, yeah. So, yeah, you do know Tyrod Taylor's history, right? Like it looks like he's doing all right with the team. Looks like, all right, this is finally the spot. He gets injured, gets his job taken, and then he gets the shit end of a stick.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, but I don't know if he has to worry about that in this. Because
Agreed.
in same news, they also said that Deshaun Watson will not be playing this Sunday either.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn, another one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
Me neither. All right.
sources, Ben Simmons won't report. Done with 76ers. And that's even including after the 76ers said they will enforce a max fine for every day he misses a training camp.
Yeah, just the day before that, I saw a report that said they were going to try to convince him to come. Like, yeah, of course you are. He's not coming back. After everything that was said, after every, just every little bit, from the fact that they said, well, I don't know if we can win a championship with him, to Embiid calling him out. All this, dude, there's no way he's coming back. You might as well go try to trade him. I don't know what they're doing on the back end to actually try to get somebody for him or get some talent, get some money, whatever.
I don't know if they're worried about like what they're not going to get back in return if it looks like they feel like they have to trade him, so teams aren't offering what they could or should. I don't know if that's the game, but the cat's out of the bag.
Well, yeah, here's the deal. If you're, I don't know, say a Houston or something, right, and you're trying to trade for him, they have to get rid of him. You're not going to offer what you normally would. Right? So,
well, there were rumblings that the Timberwolves of all teams were looking into it too. I'm not a Simmons guy, but he's a great ball distributor and a good on-ball defender. He's obviously well documented, not a shooter. So you're not bringing him in thinking that he's gonna save the world with his jump shot. It is to distribute the ball. So maybe I just don't think that ever fits well. With Cat, I think Jimmy Butler called this out a couple years ago when he was with the Timberwolves, saying that Cat and what's that other guy? He went to the Warriors now. Small forward. And the name escapes me, but he said they don't practice hard. They don't do any of that. They take that shit pretty.
Wiggins, right?
Yeah, Wiggins. That is.
Yeah,
He's like they don't take it serious. They don't like trying to compete every day either. So I don't know if that's exactly the best place for Simmons to go, who has also been kind of talked about in that same tone.
Yeah, I honestly think the best way for him to be successful is not in the point guard position as well. He's got great handles, great vision. You put him up against, I don't know, what would be a better fit? Small forward, power forward, right? Nobody can defend him at that position, I don't think, the way he handles. I almost think that'd be better for him, to be honest. But
I don't know. I have to disagree with you on that. I have to, because at a small forward, all you're going to do is just back up because he can't shoot. At least you're distributing when you're the point guard. You're at least moving. There's some respect. They're almost treating him like They would almost treat him like Rondo in Rondo's earlier days. All right, we know you're not going to shoot a three because you're garbage, so we're going to back up 10, 15 feet, and we can watch you try to pass the ball around instead.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I think in this league you have to be able to shoot if you're a point guard now, right?
You do.
The very few can be successful without that.
Right.
That's more of my point.
But I think he has to, as almost everything, they need a center to shoot threes. That's the way the game is today. So he needs to be able to shoot even no matter where he's at. Whatever he's doing, get to the gym. Like, I don't know. If that was my job, I could pay. I don't know. I just don't get. Just like it never made sense to me, like how Shaq ever shot that bad in free throws. I'm like, you literally get paid to go to a gym and shoot all day long.
All day long. Whenever you want. Kobe was up at 2 a.m, right? Shooting before practice. Like, you can get better. I guess the last thing I want to touch on with Ben is I think the only way for him to truly grow, because he's got the potential to be fucking phenomenal, he's got to have the right coach that really can push him and he listens to. He's got to be willing to do that.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, he's a good defender and everything. He'll be a fine player. But if he doesn't grow, man, I'll be really surprised and kind of disappointed, to be honest with you.
Okay. Broncos star linebacker Chubb to undergo ankle surgery. They do expect him back before the end of the season, though.
Yeah, that's a big deal for that defense, right? They're also 2-0 right now, so they've got a little room to breathe. But that still sucks. He's older, so who knows if the recovery timetable is going to be the same as normal players too. But damn.
One injured as Superdome roof catches on fire. Seen the video of it. It was a little crazy. Like I was gonna say when it rains it pours, but you know what? Bounty Gate, baby.
That's what we always go back to, Bounty Gate. That's tough.
And we will. That's called karma. So you guys got away with the Super Bowl that shouldn't have happened.
Ooh.
You're damn straight. Tell me Brett Favre.
Bounty Gate, bitches.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Brett Favre was rolling. You guys did that shit dirty. There's no way we weren't going to win that year. And you took out basically a contract. And this dude still walked out there like a boss. Like, I gained even more respect for him. He was basically getting carried back out there after you went high and low on him and, like, blew him the fuck up. And he still was throwing up his middle finger at you. He still had a shot of beating you. You live and die by him. I mean, he threw across his body, and that's what eventually gave the pick away at that point. But, he could have ran for that wide open. I still envision it. Could have ran for that wide open 9 yards and kicked. We're going to throw this in heavy quotations. Kick a game-winning field goal. But Rob Rivera, co-founder of Black Hole section of Raider fans, dies. A little sad.
Damn, that's tough.
I like the first thing I thought of, tying into our own team is big boy Viking always raises up and shows his muscles and shit. Just a big time fan. That's the first thing I thought of was like if that's what they felt like their guy. Big Ben has a pec injury that may threaten his availability for Sunday's game against the Chris Shepard favorite Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, so with this injury, they might have a better chance to beat the Bengals. The name's escaping me. Who's the third string that we said could get bumped up to first string for the Steelers?
Dwayne
Haskins, yes.
Yep.
So if Ben is out and Haskins comes in and balls, they
may
in
not
my
turn
opinion,
back.
yeah, they may not turn back. Exactly.
So if he sits, do you think they just do that then? Do you think they throw Haskins up and bypass Mason Rudolph?
I don't know I haven't heard what he looks like. I don't know what
Mason
they're thinking.
Rudolph at this point. We've seen starts from him. I mean, he's famous for one thing. He's famous for taking the helmet to the head, and that's
Yeah, it depends on how they feel. They've got some injuries on that defense.
Yep.
If they don't think the defense can carry them to a victory and they need some more offense, which they fucking do, you throw Haskins in there. You got to try. I think he's a better fit. The play calling would have to change. That offensive line is tough.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do enough in my opinion. But yeah, ultimately, if Haskins comes in and balls out, that's a wrap, Ben.
And that's what I have. So let's go ahead and kick it back over to you. We'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, let's go through some college games that surprised us. We touched on Alabama. I don't know if you wanted to hit on anything else there, but surprise. Do you think it says more about Bama or more about Florida?
I'm on the fence. I think it says more overall about Florida and their way to compete. But a rookie quarterback, a freshman quarterback going into that hostile environment with fans in the stands, they gained a little something here. It's at the end of the day, this is the number 11 team in the nation, the almighty SEC, as everyone likes to point out. And you went in there with the rookie, and or I keep saying rookie, freshman, same thing.
Tomato. It's fine.
Same thing. And you still eked out a victory, in a hard environment that they were playing up for too. Alabama's coming to your backyard, so everyone played up. So you were right. It was 21-3 at the end of the first, and Florida's ability to kind of storm back. So that's the reason why I said Florida gets the edge. And like what we learned from him is that they didn't just get beat up early on and like, God, we're just losing to Bama and we're done. No. They showed that they were going to go ahead and battle back, and then Alabama and then that freshman showed that they could deal with adversity and still pull out the victory. So,
yeah, I think that definitely says. So Bryce Young is that freshman, right?
Yep.
For Bama, I think it does say a lot. People don't get enough credit, man. Basically, when you're playing in a place like Florida, you're giving up, 6-10 points to start the game. It's just so tough. The one thing I will say is that defense did look susceptible up the middle, in between the tackles. So if you're Georgia, you're watching this game on repeat, and saying where can we take advantage once we ultimately play them.
Yep.
But I guess with that transition, Georgia did their job. They whooped up South Carolina. Not much to say there. I am excited. So I think it's October 30th, Georgia, Florida. If they can both keep rolling, that's going to be one of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah.
Because if Florida could pull it off against Georgia, man, we could end up seeing 3 SEC teams in the top 4 at the end of the year. I don't know if that's possible, but Georgia looks really good. So
Georgia, as of recently, hasn't really had quarterback play. They've been very run dominant. They have like some of the top running backs in the nation that eventually go to the draft and turn into studs in the NFL too. So to see that they have some pretty damn good quarterback play and JT Daniels, I think, God, it's going to be a hell of a lot closer than Bama could. And like you said, the Florida Georgia one that'll be a big time game. You know, like kind of putting both themselves on a gauge and see where they are. But I'm telling you, this may be the closest that they ever can, and I'm not talking about splitting. They could have a shot at knocking off Bama both times and actually being the title leader, you know. And that's hard for me to say because I am a Roll Tide guy.
But being real, top 2 teams, I think head and shoulders are Bama and Georgia, right, in the country.
And Iowa.
Yeah. We got to give them props, man. Yeah.
Still 5-0, but yeah, no, there's the cream of the crop, and that is Georgia, and that is. Are you sure you don't want to say Oregon?
They're up there. I'm telling you, they're going to be top 4 at the end of the year.
You're right, though. Bama and Georgia, the cream of the crop, they are on the top. But that has to bring me into Clemson. What the hell is going on?
Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. I know they won 14-8, but bro, they've got a drop in the standing. This is insane. They don't look like Clemson.
No.
A W is a W, but it's not.
Well, you know what? There is a difference between having this guy and having Trevor Lawrence, which is a huge drop off for anyone when you're following a Hall of Fame quarterback, so potential quarterback.
Hall of Fame. Here we go. Yeah, he's almost as bad as Trevor Lawrence, but so
excuse me.
Clemson they don't look good. Georgia Tech's a fine team. They're not bad, but there's no reason you only beat them by 6 points. Disappointed in that game.
So DJ Ugulile, I probably slaughtered that, but 126 yards passing. Spencer Petras had more passing yards. And if you don't know who that is Iowa's quarterback who cannot hit the broadside of a barn.
Correct.
He had more.
And Iowa does not pass the ball regularly.
No, and isn't Ugulile, is he not like I think he was a 5-star recruit when he came into.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a decently efficient day. He was 18-25, but just I don't know what's going on. I guess when you lose all those guys, and maybe Travis Etienne meant that much too, because their running game isn't the same either.
Yeah, running game's a big call out too. They just don't. They don't look explosive. They're winning, but it's competitive. And when you're at that level,
no shot at a natty.
No, I don't think so anymore. No chance. They basically when they lost early, they had to beat everybody by 50 to get back in there.
Yep.
You know, from that point on, and
build that confidence too.
Yeah. Hold on. Before I think you're going to keep going down, but I want to make sure I call this out. Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the score, did you see that interception?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's something stupid, yep.
That was amazing.
It was. No, I wasn't even going to really talk that much shit on this one. I had Nebraska getting blown out. I had them losing they were 22.5 point underdogs. And I had Oklahoma covering that. And actually probably winning by 30. That is not what happened. They won by 7.
In Oklahoma.
By
the way,
so maybe they reduced a little bit of a rivalry there, from when they, instead of trying to force a Nebraska-Iowa one, they actually played in a true old school one.
Well, what this says to me is when Oklahoma plays Iowa State's going to fucking wipe the floor with them. That is insane that they were that close with Nebraska. When we were talking about our upset picks of the week, I sarcastically mentioned this game because I was like, it's ridiculous. So I got to, no. There's no way you only beat that team by
Yeah.
7. Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
No excuse.
No.
Speaking of your Oregon Ducks won 48-7 against Stony Brook.
Yeah, Stony Brook. Not much to say there. That's what was expected. They did what Oregon what Oklahoma should have done to Nebraska. So, fine game. Keep it coming. We're gonna roll into the Final Four at the end of the year. Iowa whooped up Kent State. We expected that, but they dropped 30. That was a little unexpected. They're usually more like 20, 24 range. 30 points.
And they got over 200 yards passing from Petrus. My guy Tyler Goodson though, $153 and 3 tutties. So that's just going on to his Heisman resume.
Let's go. Yeah, you know what? Even if you don't have the greatest stats, if we roll in, we get close to sniffing the Final Four, that playoff, he could be in the conversation.
I'm telling
just
you,
because
they just need consistency at the quarterback play, and we're talking about a whole different team.
Agreed.
So I did see Ohio State rebound nicely, but not. They still gave up 20 to Tulsa, who was 0-3. So 41-20.
Since he played a lot, I mean, ultimately they won by 14, but they played a way closer game to Indy than I expected, right? For you too, don't you think?
A little bit, but they still beat them by 14. They're not one of the major, they're not one of the Big Five conferences.
Power six.
Power six. But Cincy, I think, if they were given the opportunity, they could really hang and bang with almost any team in the nation. And maybe they're not Alabama-esque. Maybe they're not quite Georgia-esque, but I guarantee they could be if they were given the opportunity. They'd be a respectable top 4. I really believe that. They're consistently good in offense and defense. So,
agreed.
We're going to get to, I don't know, kind of a game of the week here, and that is Penn State beating Auburn by 8, 28-20. I'm gonna let you go ahead and lead with this one because you brought up an interesting. Oh, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah, so there was a play in the fourth quarter. So Penn State's up 21-20, and I believe it's a quarterback, is trying to get in the end zone, and he dives to get in the end zone. If you have not seen this play, check it out. They called it a targeting penalty, and the Auburn player got kicked out of the game, which was ridiculous. So he's diving for the end zone. The defender, I think it was their safety for Auburn, was diving to tackle him. And I think helmet made, in my opinion, incidental contact because you're both diving, and he got kicked out of the game. There's a lot of tweets that are going around. Literally, I can't think of the kid's name right now, but his daughter asked him, "Why did you get kicked out of the game?" And he said, "I don't know. I have no idea." He said, "What am I supposed to do? Let him score?" Yeah. You're at the 1 yard line. You're not. Obviously, if you're,
it's gonna be a bang bang, especially if you're going at the 1, right? This isn't like you were targeting, like launching yourself at his goddamn helmet on purpose. Like I don't know.
And it's so hard if they're diving in any direction, you don't know where they're gonna go exactly. Yeah. So you can't plan for that either way. But that was such a big call and such a big moment in the fourth quarter. God, don't get me wrong. Maybe Penn State scores that touchdown. Maybe they just get a field goal. If they just get a field goal, it's 24-20. That's a different game.
Yep.
Such a big deal. But if you look the video up, check it out. Bullshit. Just there's a lot of tic-tac calls that are being done at the wrong time and just shouldn't be called anyway. But that had me fired up. I'm not an Auburn fan necessarily, but come on, man, you got to let them play.
Yep, I agree. And if you are Auburn, you should not be putting your head down anyway. You played one hell of a game. You went up into a hostile environment at night.
Penn State's tough too.
Yeah. White out night game, and you kind of got shit on. So keep your head up. Like I don't know what they're. Hopefully they don't let this shit linger here. They have a nice tune-up game before they start getting into their SEC play. They have Georgia State coming up. Let's go ahead and get right, and you guys will be just fine.
Agreed.
But
yeah, we don't need to go too deep into it. But one thing I will call out, Notre Dame, they put it to Purdue. They won by 14. The drum didn't turn out to matter, as we all had
Maybe it
thought.
did.
Actually,
Maybe
you know
it
what? Let's
did.
think about it the other way. Maybe it did. You're
Maybe
right,
it did.
Jimmer.
Maybe it sucked the soul right out of them guys right there.
Yeah, maybe it did. But to me, more than anything, I think Notre Dame's starting to find their footing. I think it actually says more about them. They're number 12 in the country. If they can keep their momentum going like this, they could end up top 10 with another win. Don't get me wrong, Purdue's not a great team, but it's the first time this year they've won a not close game. So, the margin of victory is a big deal in college football.
So let's go ahead and touch on your team, baby. Your Pac-12 team.
Oh, man. Yeah, UCLA ended up getting beat. Fresno State's a good team. Are they good enough to beat UCLA?
455 passing yards from Fresno State's Jake Haener.
Insane. Yeah, that defense, they got lit up. He threw 53 passes, which is nuts in college, really. But
yep.
But yeah, they got a late touchdown and ended up beating UCLA. That's fine. Fresno State's a fine team. I'm pissed because I did pick them to thump Fresno State, but we'll see what they can do. You got to be able to bounce back in this sport, and let's hope they do.
I mean, hell, Fresno State's only loss was against Oregon, and it was only by 7. So it isn't like UCLA played like a slapdick by any stretch of the imagination. So it isn't like it's a huge ugly win. UCLA is also still getting used to being pretty decent this year, so maybe a little growing pain there.
Definitely. Got to give a little props to Iowa State. Iowa State thumped UNLV 48-3. That was cool to see. I like it when Iowa State wins.
As long as they're not playing
As long
Iowa.
as they're not playing Iowa, yes.
Yep.
You're exactly right. Purdy had 288, 3 touchdowns. Brees Hall had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So Brees Hall doing Brees Hall things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Stud.
Yeah.
Stud.
No, this is what they always do. We have some buddies that are Iowa State fans, and they claim every year they always had that rough couple games to start it off. Like some that make no sense, like why they lost a game here and there, and then they roll. They lost to Iowa. I think they're about to roll. Like it's gonna be difficult. Oklahoma will be by far their biggest test, and
they didn't look good against Nebraska, so they could thump Oklahoma too.
Yeah.
I
don't know where that game is at. That'd be interesting. Is that one at Norman?
Yeah, let me look. I'll look it up quick. Keep talking.
Yeah, it's at OU. It's at OU. So
that's fine.
That's still not bad. I mean, the rest of yours, West Virginia will be Kansas State. It don't matter. Iowa State, they're playing at a different level right now. They'll be just fine. That defense is the best in the Big 12.
I almost think that loss against Iowa could be what puts them in a better position at the end of the year.
First off, it isn't a bad loss. Look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost the number 5 team in the nation. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
And potentially the number 2 or 3, number 1, 2 or 3 team. When it's all said and done, I guess we'll just have to see how that breaks down.
We'll Imagine if Florida beats Georgia at the end of October. We could be popping in that top 4 real quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. West Virginia technically upset Virginia Tech. I don't think it should have been considered one. I thought West Virginia was a better team anyway. Virginia Tech, they're still rolling off that high of what was that, week 1?
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think they just jumped the ball on that one for calling that a underdog, but.
Yeah, and then Coastal Carolina, they did their thing. They only won by 3 against Buffalo, but Buffalo's a pretty solid team.
Yep.
Coastal Carolina could run the table again this year. They could be awesome, but they don't play a difficult enough schedule to really pop up. I mean, I think realistically, like top 8 is like their ceiling. I don't think they can get much higher than 8, but solid team nonetheless. Good win. Old Miss 61 points against Tulane. Jesus.
Yeah.
Some of these games are crazy because then North Carolina had 59 too.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. BYU over Arizona State. I thought Arizona State was going to pull that off, but 27-17, maybe need to be showing some love to BYU here. Arkansas.
Yeah.
Obviously showing they're not just a Texas thumper.
Yep. Arkansas is solid, man.
Maybe someone to be a force to be reckoned with this year.
Hey, maybe that'll help Texas in the long run. If Arkansas can get that top 15, top 10, that loss is only going to look better. So
Arkansas must have heard me talk when I said that the SEC is no different or no better than the rest of the nation outside of the top like few that are the cream of the crop. The rest of their conference, just like everyone else's, can compete with anybody. Evidently, like, hold my beer. Watch this. We'll go ahead and bring the tail end up here.
Yeah. Then what else do we got? I mean,
Miami got throttled
okay.
by
Yeah,
Michigan
let's touch
State.
on that. Yep. Michigan State whooped that ass.
Yeah, that wasn't even. So, definitely probably the last time we see Miami in the top 25 this year.
Yeah. Remember that stat. Bama thumps you early in the season on neutral ground.
There you are. There it is.
You're going to lose 5 games at least, and Miami's already at 2. So, man, the football gods have something to say about this. Michigan State looks good, too. Got to give them credit, man.
Yeah, that being said, we got to roll into some NFL. We'll kind of do some Sunday recap here. Don't need to go extremely. We'll see. We always say it won't go too heavy, and then we end up getting redonkulous with it. But then we'll obviously go ahead and chat about that Monday night game, which I knew we were going to hear. I knew we were going to hear from Aaron Rodgers because Lord knows we couldn't. I told you so.
There were some games this weekend, man.
There was.
Holy shit.
There was. So let's go ahead and start with the heartbreaker. Let's get it out of the way right now. This is where Wish Rio was here, so we go ahead and hear him chime and talk shit.
That's all right. I got something for him. So
the Vikings lost on a last-second field goal. Not shocked. I'm not blaming it on the kicker. There were so many things that went awry. So I'm not doing the Rio where he blamed the first game where his kicker missed this, and that's the reason why they lost. They missed these field goals. That's why they lost to Tampa Bay. No, you lost Tampa Bay because you're the worst team. That's probably the case right here, too. The Cardinals are probably a better team. Maybe I have it overhyped, but my point is this wasn't a kicker issue. There was defense played good, but not good, like, all the time. Like, when you let a Kyler Murray get out there, stupid stuff happens.
He threw for 400 yards.
He threw for 400 yards.
Like,
he had a lot of pressure on him. I mean, our guy, Daniil Hunter, had 3 sacks on him, and Dalvin Cook was running all over the place. But here's the thing. This is the reason why you know that we were playing pretty damn decent defense. Yeah, he threw for 400 yards. Absolutely. He threw for 3 touchdowns. Arizona's leading receiver, Rondale Moore.
Yep.
Not DeAndre. Not Christian Kirk. Not even AJ.
Who locked up DeAndre? Is that old guy we have on our defense?
Yeah.
Is that what Rio would say? Old ass?
Yeah, that old
Patrick
ass.
Peterson?
Yeah, Patrick Peterson.
Huh. Weird. Rio, if you're listening, call in. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead and call in.
Call in from that COVID phone.
COVID-19. Yeah, so, I don't know. Me and you chatted about this. We don't know what they can do to correct it. Their defense needs to get better. I think their offense is going to be fine. Kirk didn't piss me off as much in this game as he did in the first game. I mean, there was still some, like usual, where I'm like, God damn it, just throw the damn ball away.
But not as many.
Right. And he did. I think you couldn't really blame it on that. There were some big-time busted plays when we needed it. When we needed a stop. When you had him rolled out, when he hit that Rondale Moore one deep-ass touchdown, that was like the life out of the building right there because we had 3 and out the previous series against them, and it seemed like we were taking control of the game, and then we were crashing in on him on that particular play. He rolls out, and he does some Kyler Murray type shit where he launches downfield. There's Rondale Moore wide open. Which I don't know if he should or shouldn't be at that point. I mean, like I said, it looked like the pocket was caving in on him. And
yep. We struggle against mobile quarterbacks.
We do. It's going to be a rough one this week, too, because we have Russell. I do think they're going to win. They're finally playing the Seahawks at Minnesota instead of Minnesota going up to, let's also remember that both of these games were on the road. Minnesota's first 2 games were
finally
on the road.
At home. Yeah.
We're coming home.
Yep.
To a stadium that is ready to rock. I promise you that.
Yeah, and for all of, whether you're a Vikings fan or not, if you're a Kirk Cousins hater, you have to give him credit. The first 2 games, he's led us and put us in position to win the game. He got screwed by a fumble in the first game, and then this last one was a missed field goal. We should have won, could have won either, We lost, whatever. That's fine. But he did his job to put us where we needed to be. Now, we could have been in a better spot for a field goal. I don't understand that decision.
Yeah.
Not trying to gain a few yards.
No, and we were kind of just like letting it chew down clock. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, you had control. They weren't stopping you. Let's go ahead and try to.
Yeah, give us 5, 10 yards.
I don't know if some things started like running in his own head, thinking about Dalvin Cook fumbling the week before, and
maybe, but
ghosts.
Regardless, Kirk put us in the good spot.
My wonderful son here, Quentin, just showed back up from practice, and this last weekend, some flag football action because we don't have tackle football in our town. At his grade level, threw 2 touchdown passes. One of them looked like a dime in the back of the end zone. Go ahead and say hi, Quentin. We'll talk into it.
Hi.
MVP, Quentin.
Yeah.
Let's go, buddy.
Did you guys end up winning that?
Yes.
Nice work, kid.
Inside your mom. Love you, bro.
Nice work, Quentin. Too bad he's the Raiders. We got to change that up.
Yeah. They were supposed to be Tampa Bay, I guess. And in fact, they still called them at that one of those games, like the Jamboree. They were still calling them the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers evidently are a popular team since they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
So
bandwagon shit. We don't need to dwell on the Vikings too much, right?
No.
That sucks. Cardinals, props. Kyler Murray looked fucking great, but
they're 2-0.
The Bears. Vegas called this perfect, right? Weren't they 3-point favorites?
Yep.
Yeah. So
what
do you got to say?
You have nothing extra to say here? You're just going to try to roll over it?
Well, I guess to be clear for everybody listening, we will do our proper 12 shot when Rio gets back from COVID. Jimmer.
You lost a whiskey wager? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, actually, Rio didn't bet. This one was... Wait, was this one? No, this wasn't even the bet. Never mind.
Okay.
It was San Francisco, and then it was New Orleans. Never mind. Regardless,
you were still
we did
shit
argue
wrong
it.
on this.
Yeah, we did argue it. We thought the Bengals would pull it out, and that defense looked good. But then, like we said, we have that injury. So if Fields comes in and he plays next week, my opinion could change a little bit. We'll see what it looks like. The play calling's got to change and things like that, though.
Yeah, we kind of touched on them a little bit in the beginning part. So not going to go too much into it. I don't like rooting for that team. I do like Justin Fields, though. I really do. I don't know what you're waiting on. It's cute. Dalton's feelings shouldn't be hurt. You're a career backup at this point in your career. That's what you are, and be okay with that. You're gonna be the top paid backup quarterback in the league. Everyone's gonna want to pay you because why wouldn't you want Andy Dalton to be your backup?
Right. Agreed. Then Texans Browns, Jimmer. That game was way closer than anybody expected, right? 31-21 doesn't sound great, but it was closer than that.
I hate to hate on anything, especially after a victory. You still won by double digits. And my oldest son, it's one of his favorite teams is the Browns. And for context, he liked them before they started winning too. So, but that being said, is that quarterback going to hold them back? Is Baker Mayfield going to hold them back from their ultimate goal? Does he have that? He was great in college, but does he have that thing to go ahead and take and separate you?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
I think what holds him back is actually the play calling. So they're such a run dominant team, but being a run dominant team where Nick Chubb has 11 carries for 95, that's not enough. You know what I mean? Baker was great, 19 for 21, Jimmy. I don't know if you know that. 19 for 21 is fucking insane.
It is.
And he got hurt. I think he got hurt, right around halftime? Yeah. He got hurt early in the game, then came back, and he was fine. His left shoulder had to get popped back into place. That's fucking always tough.
Yep.
But I think Baker's fine. I think he can take them at their peak is what I'll say. At their peak, I could see them beating the Chiefs in the playoffs because ultimately it's probably who it goes through. They could beat them.
You're telling me they have a chance to beat either Buffalo or the Chiefs?
Now that's where I have to think, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if they could beat Buffalo.
Depends where the seeding's going to end up.
Yeah, because I think Buffalo is a different beast. They've got a lot more weapons.
Buffalo plays in a easier division too. As what I mean.
So it'll be at Buffalo, right? Yeah,
exactly. Buffalo could end up with a 1 seed.
Yeah.
The AFC West is playing tough, right? So far, I mean, like we said, it's been a weird NFL season so far. 2 games in. But ultimately, even what we were looking over, the Bills still playing the easier division this year. Those other three teams are all still learning. They all are starting, young quarterbacks. They're still getting used to their own thing. Miami was probably their biggest quote unquote competitor, but we'll see. We'll see on that part. But we're talking about the AFC West, who's balling with Broncos and the Raiders, the surprise team.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's
Derek
going on
Carr
there?
for
Like,
MVP. Jumping off the Winston wagon. We're going on Derek Carr.
you need to
Derek
ride.
Carr for MVP, baby.
You need to dick ride somebody else. Jameis ate that W, and he got too full for week 2.
He did. But yeah, to answer your question, I think Baker's fine. I think the play calling has to get better. They really, man, Texans are going to play some teams tough this year, and that's fine. But the Browns are so much better. They've got so much more talent. The defense is so much better. They should have thumped him by, 20 probably. So 10 points it's just not enough. I know that's weird, double digits, but in my opinion, that's not enough. You've got to do more. And also Landry got hurt, like we said. So,
which may throw Baker's comfortability out. That's kind of always been his outlet since he's been there, is Jarvis.
Right.
When they're trying to force feed into his head early on, Odell, it just kept going back to Jarvis, and Jarvis does his thing for him. So that could have been in his head a little bit too. Yeah. Or into the play calling itself. Vaguely touch. Rams did win 27-24. They also lost Darrell Henderson with a rib injury. Don't know if that's going to go into
big game coming up.
Yeah, that's a huge game. So real quick, fantasy implications. If Darrell's out, is Sony Michel?
It's the Sony show. Yeah.
Is it the Sony show? Because he looked all right. I think he had 9 carries, 41 yards.
Yeah, he looked fine
when they needed time to be chewed off the clock there.
Yeah, I think, and it gives him. I mean, would you say Sony's a better receiver out of the backfield too than Henderson? I think he's got the edge, right?
Yeah, maybe. But at bare minimum, they're not going to miss a beat, though. I mean, hopefully they don't get on this Niners-Ravens train where we, they start getting all banged up. But
yeah, the tough thing is, so L.A., when we're talking about next week, so they beat the Colts.
Because they already lost Cam Akers, by the way, beginning of the season. So we're on to our third running back quietly right now.
Right. So they beat the Colts. Tough for Wentz to get out. Hey, 2 ankle sprains, like what the fuck? But they play the Bucs coming up, and I think with Tom Brady, they're going to be smart enough to know that the pass defense for the Rams is much better than the run defense. So we could see some huge running game, whether it's touchdowns, rushing yards, whatever from Tampa versus Tom Brady having a huge game, which puts me in a tough spot because Brady's my quarterback as well.
So that offensive line better ball out. Right, for the Bucs.
Agreed. Totally agree.
I did want to mention the Rams. So that's a beautiful stadium. Oh my.
Agreed. You noticed that too. Yeah, definitely agree.
And they actually put Rams fans in the seats, unlike the Chargers, who are going to be discussed upon here a little bit later. With the Chargers, you just need to cut bait. Go back to San Diego. Tell them you're sorry. You were loved in San Diego. You're not even second fiddle in LA. You were, probably the fourth, not even the fourth. There may be hockey teams they like more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, you have the Lakers, you have the Rams, you have USC. Just come on.
Bad idea, man.
But yeah, I know that this next week, Rams Buccaneers will be one hell of a game to watch.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not even a primetime game. That's a late Fox game.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm excited for it regardless because I think those are the 2 best teams in the NFC at this point. But
yeah.
So then we're looking at the Bills, Dolphins. We don't have to touch on it much. I did say they were going to thump the Dolphins. Dolphins defense didn't look great. Josh Allen had a decent comeback game. I mean, he only had 179. Here was the key. Devin Singletary, 82 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in Buffalo. They balanced it out. They played well, and they put it to Miami. Tua's out. That's fine, but Buffalo's starting to look better. That's what we expected.
Do you realize how difficult it is to skunk a team in the NFL? It happens, I think, on average, 2 times a year out of all the games played. And even without Tua, usually a backup quarterback, you'll get a field goal. You'll get within Because at the end of the day, you try to get down in there and you'd be like, hey, we're not going to get shut out. We're at least going to kick a field goal. You shut out a NFL team. So 35-0. I mean, that's not just a thumping. That's an ass whooping.
That is, especially when you look at Miami's defense was one of the best in the league last year.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
big
And
deal.
then we get down to Patriots Jets 25-6. We already
Mack Jones, let's go.
Yeah. Damian Harris looked all right in his rebound game. And when I say rebound game, he had a very good first game. I would be lying to you if I wasn't thinking, God, I would hate to be a Damian Harris owner, because we know what Bill Belichick does to guys that fumble the ball. They may not touch the ball the rest of the season. Like, I've seen guys lose it for the rest of the season after that.
Yep.
Nice
I think
bounce back
Sony's
game.
been in that spot a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So 25-6. I don't know if we really gained much knowledge other than stuff that we already knew. We knew Belichick shuts down rookie quarterbacks. He throws some stuff that they'd never seen before, and they get flustered and it hurts. So I think that's kind of more what we've seen than what we're going to see from the Patriots.
Yeah, agreed. Their defense is great. They'll keep them in games. The offense, I don't know if they are consistently going to put up 25 though. Mack Jones, we'll see. I did like I said earlier, I like Mack Jones. I think he helped, especially that rundown where he helped push him into the end zone. Big deal. More to come though. Game 2. We'll see.
He's a competitor. I think the Patriots will do one hell of a transition. You go from losing arguably the GOAT, or he is the GOAT, and
The GOAT.
yep. It's kind of like, God, the damn Packers. After Favre left,
They get Aaron Rodgers.
They get Aaron Rodgers. So
Fuck.
we could be on another Patriots, run here after a while. Maybe not to the same tune, but still not enough for, I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs very many more times.
We'll
we
see.
do have the Niners beating the Eagles, but the game was pretty damn close, 17-11.
Yeah, this was the first warm whiskey wager.
Yeah.
And this was actually a 2-on-1 here. So this was Rio and myself
Yeah.
against you. You got lucky. You didn't get goaded into Rio's 7 points. You kept it at 6, and that's exactly how it ended. So good call. But the Eagles, who do we talk about? Who got hurt? That's going to be a big part going forward for their defense.
For who?
The Eagles.
Oh, Brandon
Graham, yeah. So that's going to be huge for them. Their defenses looked phenomenal the first couple games. But at the same time, the Niners just keep getting hurt everywhere. I'm a little worried about them going forward. So
They do. Jalen Hurts still had a beautiful game, at least as a runner. Passing wasn't up there, but
yeah, 12 for 23 that's tough.
yeah, but he still ran 10 times, 82 yards in a tutty. So, we'll see how it goes. But either way, I know that this guy doesn't have to take double shots. That's what I know.
Yeah. Hey, their Niners are 2-0. I mean, you got to give them credit, right? So they went into Philly, they won. So I'm just saying, 2-0.
I know they're your Super Bowl pick. So
No, they weren't Super Bowl
Oh.
division champs. is what I said.
division champs. Well, so,
We'll touch on this in a little bit, but not all 2-0 records are created the same.
right,
Okay, so
or 0-2 for that matter.
or 0-2. You're damn right. We touched on the Raiders already, right? On Friday night, I think we talked about them beating the Steelers.
Yeah.
So then, go ahead. I know the next one's yours.
Panthers. Panthers Saints. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. I think you're down 2 warm whiskey wagers now. So the score of this game was 26-7, and I don't even know if it was even that close. We all were. I do believe we all were on Sam Darnold. I
Yes.
think when you're with the Jets, damn, that hurts. And he has so much potential. And I was like, dude, people were giving up on him too soon. Carolina might have got away with getting their franchise quarterback. 305, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey doing Christian McCaffrey things. I mean, he didn't have exactly a ridiculous amount of rushing yards, but 24 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. DJ Moore looking like he's going to go to a Pro Bowl this year. 8 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown.
We'll see how. So I picked Robbie Anderson to do better than his draft position. Not looking great so far. DJ Moore is the guy. Christian McCaffrey is really number 2.
Yep.
So that's looking tough. But Carolina looks fine, man.
So what was it, 83 touchdowns and 0 interceptions? That was on the...
That's out the window, right? I think
That's
we're
out
no
the
good
window.
there.
So the touchdowns is definitely down to... He's back down to average now. He's averaging 2.5, but he threw 2 interceptions. So there's Jameis that we know.
Yeah,
He also took 4 sacks. He was a leading rusher, which is not good. He had 19 yards rushing. He had a touchdown on that, but Jameis isn't a runner. If anything you know about Jameis, he's not. I'm not saying he can't run. He hasn't been a runner throughout his career.
Right.
Alvin Kamara, 8 carries, 5 yards.
Yeah, I don't know what that says more about. I don't think the Carolina's defense is that great, so it makes me worry about the Saints. If that's possible, to where Kamara has that bad of a game, the Saints could be in for a rough stretch here.
I'm telling you, I made this clear in our NFC predictions. I said we were sleeping on the Carolina defense. Pointed out the players that they have, the pieces they have in place, and their head coach is a defensive-minded coach himself. So, J.C. Horn, their rookie, had a interception. Yeah. So either way, just like I thought it would. Saints are back down to earth, and it's going to be rough for them to get those other 3 wins that they need to get my prediction. So
you know damn well Jameis is going to have another game where he throws 5 touchdowns. So
that'll be a game that they need it because it'll be that same game he'll throw 4 interceptions.
But just to be clear, I'm off the Jameis bandwagon. He's not going to throw 85 touchdowns.
So who are you on?
Tom Brady. He's on pace for 76.5 touchdowns this year.
Oh, okay, so that's
where I'm going. He's my fantasy quarterback anyway, so
there you go.
He obviously won't get that,
yep.
But fuck, he could get over 50 pretty easy at this rate.
So a little like keeping it updated for the listeners. Where are you at in fantasy? Because we do have a whiskey wager on that too.
Yeah, so I think I'm at 2. You're at 3 right now, right?
Wins?
No, I'm 2-0. You're 2-0, but as far as points and all that, So I think I'm 2. You're 3, right there. We're really close though.
Right there.
This is fun. Dude.
I told you.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is gonna come down, and Rio had a dumb week. Like I think he put up he had
Cortland Sutton is not gonna play that good every week.
No, Cortland Sutton's a good receiver, but he's not gonna put up that.
No.
His one thing we got to be scary of though, I guess, is he did steal Rob Gronkowski.
That Jesus Christ. So dating back to the Super Bowl, Gronkowski has 6 touchdowns in 3 games. 2.
Yep.
Automatically, that puts you in the top, 4 tight ends. Just with that. Yep. Fuck, that was a steal, man.
Yeah, and that could help him. It really could.
Yeah, it could.
So we'll go ahead and move on from that. So we are going to, now that we got through that part, we are going to pay up on these whiskey wagers after our little buddy Rio gets back from playing sick, and we'll get that video recorded up too. So watch Danny drink some whiskey, probably get wasted after his 2 shots.
Yeah, Rio will be out for probably another week or something. So we'll have a wager before this weekend between Jimmer and myself, and we'll put a video up before that too. But we'll pay up. Either way, I'll probably have to sleep on the couch at Jimmer's because my wife's not going to be happy with me.
No, she's not.
So we'll see what happens.
Thought you guys were recording over there. Joke's on you. Going there to get bombed.
Exactly. So, mentioned earlier, 2-0 teams. So, 2-0. Not all 2-0 records are made the same.
Okay.
The Broncos is one of those teams. So, they started off with the Giants and then now beat the Jaguars. That's not the same as, say, an Oakland who beat Baltimore and then the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? But with all that said, they're 2-0. You got to give them credit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them? They beat up the Jags. They beat up your Hall of Fame quarterback. What do you think?
We guys just got to throw shit like that there, huh? Okay. First off, I still got to stick to one thing. So I love the way Teddy's playing. So don't ever get it misconstrued. I'm a fan of him. I wish he could have worked out in Minnesota. It was a horrendous injury when it happened. And then when we needed a quarterback and the Jets, was it the Jets that he was at for a minute?
Teddy?
Yeah, just for a minute before he got traded. Because then he got traded to New Orleans.
And I think it was the Jets.
Yeah, I think it was the Jets.
Yeah.
So they were looking for someone to trade with. I was like, Minnesota, go ahead and grab this guy because all it is $10 million. It was a $10 million contract at the time. Either way, what I'm getting at is he's playing pretty damn well. But I still got to stick to they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be competitive. Just don't know if they have the it when it comes down to it. When it comes down to, all right, Teddy, we need you to go out and get this. And we need you to make back-to-back we need you to lead 2 spectacular back-to-back scoring drives. Don't know if he's going to have it when it comes time. I would love for him to prove me wrong in this one. But in this game, he went 328 and 2 touchdowns. Not much from the running game. I mean, 13 carries, 64 yards for Javonte. But Cortland Sutton, like you already alluded to, 9 receptions, 159 yards.
Big day. Okay, so let me ask you this. Broncos are 2-0. We talked about that. Oakland's 2-0. They both run the division right now. I said Oakland, said Vegas. I say Oakland way too often. So they're both 2-0, leading the division. You think the Broncos are going to make the playoffs? Every week, Jimmer, I'm buying more and more into Derek Carr. I don't think 3 teams make it to playoffs out of that division. Right now, if I had to bet, I would say Denver's the one that misses out.
Whoa. I got to disagree. So, it's a very nice story. I'm a huge Derek Carr guy. Wish we would have gotten him when he was drafted. That's the same year that we took Teddy instead. At the end of the day, the Raiders are playing very nice, inspirational football. Derek Carr's playing nicely. Something's going to go wrong. I hate to say that, but the year that they looked like they were a Super Bowl contender, do you remember that? I think it was Jack Del Rio was their head coach.
Yep.
They looked like they were the one team that could knock off the Patriots. Like, that's the type of team they had rolling. I mean, I think they saw Khalil Mack. They had ballers. Was it 12 wins I think they had? Last game of the year, Derek Carr gets his back broken. Was that the one where he broke his back or his foot? His back happened eventually, but something always happens. I still don't believe you sit there and strip all those pieces out. You were trading all these offensive line pieces, cutting other guys, trying to do this, that, and the other. And I think he'll come back. Like I said, nice story. I hope that isn't the case. A family late great friend of ours is a huge Raiders fan, James. I don't know, maybe some weird shit's happening from above there, I guess, because my son ended up with the Raiders jersey for his flag football team.
So cool.
You know, a little weird, 2-0 on the season. I still think the Broncos are the better all-around team.
Listen, all right, you said your piece. Here's my thing. I don't disagree with anything you just said. On paper, basically, the Raiders should lose most of the rest of the season. Okay, they should have lost the first 2 games. We even predicted they win 2, maybe. I think Rio might have had them at 3 games.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense where they're at, but they keep winning because of the play calling is such a big deal. That defense is turning out to be really good. So I don't have any legitimate. I can't point to something and say this is why they're going to win. But for some reason, they're going to win so many ball games we don't expect. You're right. So that team, when they won, I think it was 12, maybe 13 games that year. But when they did that, they had a lot of studs. They don't. They quite frankly don't, man.
Right.
The offensive line is depleted, but they're winning these games. So I just feel like they're only going to get healthier.
The one thing I
could see him at this point. God damn, I don't even have a reason for saying this. I could see them winning 10 games and making the playoffs, though. I don't even have any reason, but they just feel they're a feel-good team. You know what I mean?
No good reason.
Yeah.
The one thing I do have to say is the maturation of Derek Carr. So he isn't. Yes, you see what was it? Was that week 1, 18 targets for Darren Waller? But these are receivers. He's actually winging the ball to too. Like Brian Edwards is getting some play. Hunter Renfrow, Henry Ruggs, I think had a game in this one. You know, and starting to show these pieces. He's not just showing that he's a dump-off quarterback right now. I think he finally is starting to get that little out of his head. I don't know if he was so skittish because, like I said before, he had got his back broken. Maybe he'll be a little gun-shy and trying to get just dump off.
And to give you some credit, this could be the sign. So against the Steelers this past week, they threw the ball all over the place. And earlier in the season, you said there were going to be a lot of targets taken away from Waller. First game, definitely wrong, right? First game, he had a shit ton of targets. But if this past game is more of what the future holds, you could be spot on with that. And if that is the case, they have a better shot of winning, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Carr threw for 382. Henry Ruggs had his first 100-yard game, 113 and a touchdown. If they're going to be successful, you can't like I said, the Waller one, especially last year, they were chasing from behind all the time, so you go with the comfort, and he's a special athlete. So I mean, he's a top three tight end in this league, so there's no argument there.
Yeah.
But to be successful, if you're really going to grow as a team, you're not going just one guy. You're spreading it around. All right, we'll keep her going here. Buccaneers beat the Falcons 48-25. I don't know how much we even need to really talk about on this. I mean, yes, your boy Mike Evans did come back. I got to give you some love there. 5 receptions, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He always gets those like inside the 5 touchdowns, right?
Yep.
That's a little bit what worries me, but he gets the touchdowns.
Brady, like you said, is on pace for 76.5 touchdowns. Was that the number?
Yeah, I think it's about right. Yeah.
So that's only a half, about half more of a touchdown than my golf team did in our beer scramble. We went ahead and put down 76 tall boys as a team to go ahead and bring back a championship. Shout out to Luke, Jared, Rio. And when I first told Danny, I was like, we put down 76 beers. He's like, damn, that's a lot. He's like, but I honestly thought you could do better. I'm like, Danny, they were tall boys. I'm like, Danny,
Makes a difference.
I put down 23 plus tall boys, which equals over 30 beers.
Yeah.
In an 18-hole golf course where we still shot under par. We shot 5 under legitimately before they took the strokes off for the 76.
Yeah,
so we won this
props
with like
to
an
you
81.
guys for sure. That's fucking awesome. You said it was your Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Just like going to Vegas?
We didn't go there to lose.
And you damn well fucking won. So definitely props to you guys. That's a hell of a deal. Too bad you don't get a trophy, though. We could have put that up back
yeah,
then, too,
I know.
so.
That's one thing I'm a little disappointed in. I wish they would have had a trophy. Played this out at Buffalo Run Golf Club in North Springs, Iowa. Hey, hopefully we brought enough money in for him, so next year there will be one, and then he will just have to backdate it for.
So how did it go? I am curious. I'm assuming you had to buy the beers there.
Yeah.
So did they literally? You had a trash bag, I think.
Yeah.
Did they literally count them each
Yes.
one?
Yes, they did.
At the end, holy shit!
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking cans to count up. Yeah.
Hey, nice work. I wouldn't be able to swing shit if I had what you had. Basically, call it 30 beers, right? I wouldn't be able to swing a club. I'd have been in the cart the whole time. Like, go ahead, take this one from me.
I'll go ahead and I'll drink 3 more beers to catch up on my.
Right.
So that also helped too. I was like, well, if I shot a shitty shot, I'd just be like, I'll just make up for it here with I'll chug a beer quick. My putting was on point, so
take what you can get, man.
yeah, yep. So Cowboys, Chargers.
First of all right, Cowboys won. Let's get that out of the way. Rio, eat shit. But at the end of the game, if you didn't watch this, you need to look at some interviews, figure out what happened, because the Cowboys almost fucked this up. So they're winding down the clock. Mm-hmm. They're about to kick a big field goal. Greg the Leg came through. By the way, my fantasy kickers are good for something, Jimmer.
No, they're not. Eat shit and die.
He ultimately kicked a 56-yard field goal, which is fucking awesome. Clutch, man. Came through in a hostile environment. Great job. But
hold on, I got to stop you right there. Hostile environment, my ass.
Touche.
Because the Cowboys filled that stadium with Cowboy fans. And that's exactly what happened, because there's no LA Chargers fans.
All right.
You seen that, right?
Yeah.
So you know I'm not bluffing.
Yeah.
So they played a home game on the West Coast. Appreciate you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Best case, they played in a neutral environment.
Not even neutral. Not even no. This was Cowboy land too.
So time's winding down, and I think when they finally called the timeout, there's 4 seconds left. But McCarthy did not know. Dak did not know how much time was on the clock. They both had their excuses. McCarthy said his offensive coordinator couldn't see the clock. Dak had a different excuse. They almost had to go to overtime because they would have let the clock run out. They won the game, but man, that says a lot to me. I don't know what you think, Jimmer. I know you didn't see that story, but fuck, that says a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It's
Um,
I'm not sold. I'm telling you, I'm not sold on them. And in reality, they probably should have lost this game anyway. But I'm not even going to go the Cowboy hate route. I'm just saying they're going to get in their own way at bare minimum. I mean, you just seen
exactly.
this is game 2 over something silly over a time thing, and then you guys can't all get on the same page of what happened either.
The only other thing I want to point out there, and you can say your piece, but they need to trade Zeke and start Tony Pollard.
You know damn right.
We've been saying that for a while, but
Yep.
this is a great example. 13 carries, 109. Zeke has not had a 100-yard game with a touchdown in not quite 2 years, about 2 years though. That's how much money is he getting paid?
Stupid. Top 3, right? He's got to be getting paid top 3 at this point. It doesn't matter. He got overpaid at the point. I made this point in one of our very first podcasts, the NFC one, and Zeke is overrated. He's not special. I am saying that loud and clear. He was very special in college. He's a good football player. When he was good, and what Little Rio will bring up is the rushing titles. Yeah, you play behind one of the best offensive lines of this generation. Like this passing era's generation, you ran behind that offensive line.
Exactly.
So, what they should do is try to find one right now. Yeah, what do you have? 70, 80 yards rushing?
Yep, that's
and
his
touchdown?
peak right now.
Here's his peak. Get you something right now. Hopefully you can get yourself like a second rounder.
Yep.
Or if someone's stupid enough to throw you a first rounder, you go ahead and take that all day plus some. But yeah, absolutely they should. They should move on.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's great. I've liked him for a long time.
Yep.
I think he fits that team better. Zeke just isn't. He's not worth the money, man.
They can spend that elsewhere.
Yeah. Especially
on
in defense.
Especially on defense.
Let's go.
All right, so let's get moving on down the line. We do have Titans Seahawks in a nail biter, 33-30 in overtime. The score of this game was 24-9 at halftime.
I didn't even pick up the remote to change the channel. I thought the game was over until I saw the final score. And I'm like, what in the hell happened? The Titans are finally coming through. Derrick Henry had a huge game. Let's go.
Derrick Henry had 35 carries and 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. At one point that I looked, he had 17 carries and 59 yards and 1 touchdown. And that was in the first half. And that is really a sexy line. Now think about that. Over double that from that time forward. And he went for $130 and 2 more touchdowns. Just barely double.
Do you think the Vikings are going to look at that tape and say, Dalvin, let's go?
Gonna need to.
to.
But they also need to watch Tyler Lockett. So Tyler Lockett back-to-back weeks. Yeah. I don't know what the hell it is, but I don't know where DK Metcalf is.
No,
but Tyler Lockett just keeps catching these rainbows. They're there, and 8 receptions, 178 yards, and a tutty. It's always, and there's always a long touchdown in there too, a rainbow shot that he ends up getting. But
yeah, it really reminds me of Patty Mahomes chucking it up to Tyreek Hill. Like he's out there somewhere. I'm just gonna throw it up, and then magically he's wide open, and ends up. He don't get me wrong, Lockett is a stud. He stops on a dime, makes defenders miss, and gets that TD. But man, Titans pulled it off. Good. They needed to. They couldn't start 0-2. And then, in my opinion, game of the week was the Ravens and the Chiefs. Man, Lamar Jackson, Jimmer started the game with 2 quick interceptions. Didn't look good. They weren't running the ball early in the game. Then they finally got to their style. And then we know the rest. But,
they didn't really ever let it get away from them, though. So even after throwing the interceptions, it's 14-7 at the end of the first. And 21-17. So, when I say that they're not a team that is built for coming from behind, that's not really from behind. I'm talking about, easily 2 touchdowns or more. And, you're not going to just come back from that. They showed some resilience. And Baltimore is one of my favorite teams. It has been for a while, But I'd be lying to you if I thought that I picked the Chiefs to win this game. I didn't think it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be really this close. And then, like you said, they found their way. They found their running game. Lamar Jackson did his Lamar Jackson special stuff. If you guys have not seen the video of their head coach, John Harbaugh, yelling out to him, Lamar, are we going for it?
Hell yeah,
we're going for it. He does. He gets a long. It was a long yard and a half.
Yep.
I think somewhere right there to seal that game. The end zone flip for a touchdown by him a little bit before that. It's
the that jump pass. They give him a lot of credit for that, and it was a cool pass. Don't get me wrong, but man, it's just cool to watch him actually pass the ball to win some games instead of going, running the ball like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gets enough credit. Lamar's so fun to watch, such a cool story. He got the monkey off the back, man. That could be it. But on the other end of that, Mahomes made some uncharacteristic mistakes, threw some terrible picks. If they play again, I don't know if that happens. So
he threw one pick.
Threw two.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes threw one pick. Three touchdowns, one interception.
Just one. Okay.
Unless did he have a fumble somewhere too? Maybe is that what you're looking at? I'm not even seeing a fumble either. I'm not seeing a fumble. Yeah, he did. He recovered one. My bad.
Oh, so it was just one pick, but it was in the fourth quarter.
Yep. So, which doesn't happen. It's so rare that he throws one. Regardless, I got to beat up on one thing real quick, and that is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, a guy at my work, Eric White, it's like, I made fun of this guy right out of the gate back a couple years ago when they drafted him. They drafted this guy in the first round, mind you. Don't care if it's pick number 32 or not. Don't give a shit. You wasted your first round pick on this running back. It wasn't even the best running back in this draft class. Maybe even the fourth. You could have waited to grab this guy for another round or two and still got a better you could have got another defensive piece. You know how they're struggling on getting pressure on the quarterback. I don't know. I do believe you were bitching about offensive line pieces. You could have got an offensive line piece at that point. Another wide receiver weapon. You grab shitty-ass Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He is not good. And he's shown it again. And and unfortunately, anyone that got stuck with him in fantasy knows exactly what I'm talking about because they just hang their head like, And it's hard for you to take him out because he's in Kansas City's offense. So you feel like you can't take him out either. And that's just what he does.
He would be much better on a different team. Clyde's a good running back, but he's not. He doesn't have breakaway speed like pretty much everybody else in Kansas City. He's more of that kind of bruising, almost like third down back. But they don't use him to his skill set. So even though he is the guy, which in fantasy, when you're drafting running backs, you want the guy because it doesn't exist in most teams.
Yep.
He's just not going to get you points in fantasy. And he doesn't give them a lot of value because they don't use him the way he should be because they're fast pace. They throw the ball long. They're really fast, man. They go after track stars. Tyreek is so fast. Even Kelsey. Helaire just isn't. He doesn't fit that team great, especially how they use him. That's how I feel.
Mecole Hardman. No, I'm just saying it was a wasted draft pick. I made fun of him from day one. I'm like, you guys could have got him maybe in the third round. That's what I'm beating up.
Yep.
Yeah, you wanted him great. He wasn't a first or second round talent. You grabbed him in the first like morons.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a fine running back, right? But
yeah,
if you're not going to use him, why would you waste that anyway? So
yeah, I still don't know if he's fine. There was way better running backs in that draft than
because wasn't that the Taylor,
Jonathan
Taylor, and there's a few other guys there.
I'll look it up. What was that? Clyde Edwards-Helaire draft. Yeah, I know Jonathan Taylor because that's the first one I said right out of the gate.
Yeah. So while you're looking that up, I mean, Mahomes had a good game. Finally lost in September. That doesn't happen often. I will give him credit. This is one of those rare games where if you have, one of the Chiefs' number 2, number 3 receivers, you probably got some points in fantasy if you started them. They don't usually throw the ball around as much. Usually it's Hill. Usually it's Kelsey, things like that. But this was a little bit of a different game, which ultimately helped them because they shut Hill down. But, man, just a bad interception by Mahomes. And then, goddamn, Lamar Jackson pulled through, which was so cool. I just worry it might be the one time he's able to do that against the Chiefs because it was pretty lucky.
Yeah. So let's name a couple right after that one. Right after Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you had DeAndre Swift was taken in the second round.
Swift would fit that offense way better.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
You had Jonathan Taylor, who would fit that offense.
Yep.
There was another one up in here. J.K. Dobbins was in this draft. Yeah, dude, I was high on J.K. Dobbins alone. But I'm like, Jesus. And you took Clyde Edwards. Like, that's what I'm saying. He was like maybe the fourth best running back. Maybe. A.J. Dillon, if you're an A.J. Dillon guy, that was Green Bay's. That was the same draft that everyone made fun of.
He's a stud. Sure.
And he is. Antonio Gibson was in the third round. I don't know. That was a horrible pick. That is a horrible pick. Defensive pieces that were right around there at that time. They could have got Gross Mateos. Blacklock, defensive tackle. Grant Delpit, you got a safety. You could have got Antoine Winfield Jr., which is just a Super Bowl champion now down there with
no big deal. Yeah.
No big deal. Trayvon Diggs, who's balling out for the Cowboys. There were pieces, and you went arrogant, stupid. You went with a stupid-ass running back. That's my point.
Yeah. I think long-term, this loss helps both teams, not just the Chiefs. Chiefs were going to go undefeated. They needed to kind of get a kick in the sack, and it obviously helps the Ravens. They need that W. They couldn't start 0-2, just like the Titans. So, but fuck, some great primetime games to start the season, right?
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Nobody's missing too much. We had, and then our Monday night, what do we got? What do we have?
Lions-Packers. Man, at the end of the first half, Lions up 17-14. I'm sitting with you watching the game. I'm like, man, the Lions and the Bears might lead the division after this. And then came quarters 3 and 4. And Aaron Rodgers played fine. I know 22 for 27, but he didn't look that good in my opinion. He did end up with 4 touchdowns. Great for fantasy. Aaron Jones was the story of the day. 4 touchdowns on the day, I do believe. Great game. Devontae Adams almost fucked you over in fantasy. 8 receptions, 121. No, you pulled out the W. It was
almost.
Good.
No, I was nervous. Don't get me wrong. I won by 7, maybe a little less, but like right around there. I'm like, God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Now that being said, when you did say how many area touchdowns did Aaron Rodgers have? 4.
4.
One of them is low hanging fruit garbage because that actually should have been another rushing touchdown for Aaron Jones. Remember that little pitch forward? We were talking about that. I'm like, dude, that's technically a handoff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're going. Yeah.
Forward,
I'm like, dude, come on. But that isn't me taking a shot. I knew watching what I seen. First off, before I get to that man's body language,
just shaking his head
nonstop.
All the time. Yeah.
Nonstop. It is not going to get any better, Packers fans. I'm telling you. You beat up on the lowly Lions.
At home after a bad loss.
And this isn't even me. Yeah, this isn't even me trying to beat down on Packers. I am literally telling you this is not done for you. Like if you're being real with yourself, how many times did you see that man shaking his head? Even when the play wasn't even bad. I watched him shake his head after an 8-yard run.
Yep.
Literally a positive 8-yard run on first down. I'm like, God damn, he does not want to be there. Either that or he's thinking about that press conference where he's going to rub everybody's nose in it. One of the two. But he's shaking his head the whole time. It isn't done there. That being said, Jared, this is the first time I watched Jared Goff play this season. He actually didn't look bad. He really didn't. And, I just think he's lacking weapons when it comes time. And that defense did not play good either. Like, I think they did enough on offense at one point. I mean, they did slow down, obviously, but they did enough on offense. I think that defense actually let them down tremendously. So,
yeah.
Hey, kudos to these boys for keeping Devontae Adams under, what was it, 25 points?
Yeah.
25 points. Thank you for keeping him under 25 points of PPR. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I mean, props to Green Bay. They got the W. Goff 26 for 36 for 246. Did have a pick. Their rushing game just isn't there though, man. Altogether, they had 108, but 46 of that was Goff. You can't have that if you want to win. So, and then your leading receiver was Hawkinson, who's a stud, but 66 yards. Just they don't look good. They look like the Lions, quite frankly. So, So we'll see. But props to them. Good Monday night game up until really middle of the third quarter. Then the Packers started to just kind of put it on cruise control. So
Yeah. It was still a fun week to watch. Football's back. God, feels good to watch these with fans in the stands. It really does. I cannot stress that enough. Still a weird year that we're breaking out. I think it'll shake out to what we're more accustomed to seeing. I think what we predicted. I'm not going to say that we're going to be square on the nuts with everything, but I think we're seeing a lot of weird things the first couple games. I think are going to iron themselves out. Either that or teams are still getting adjusted to injuries and shit like that. So
hell yeah, it's fun, man. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad fans are in the stands for sure. That makes such a big difference.
Yep.
All right. Well, to kind of finish things up today, we've got a nice little makes sense if you don't think about it segment. Jimmer, it's over to you, baby.
So this is a shout out to my guy Miles, who's also in our fantasy league.
Shout out, Miles.
Love the guy. I got to tell his story though. Chuckling thinking about it. So we have what they're called pits in our plant. They catch water and stuff, grading over them, all that stuff. Well, they get stuff built up in them, and you got to get down in there and you got to clean them out, right? Scoop them out of the sludge and water. Well, this guy he gets suited up, gets some rubber boots on, gets a rain suit on.
Okay. Rain suit.
A rain suit.
Trying to visualize this.
Yep. Think about just rain suit as in the pants, the coat, the whole works.
Okay.
This man goes and jumps right in the pit. You seen the problem yet?
Yeah, I feel like I don't work there, and is that the move?
So what I'm getting at here, if anyone knows if they can visualize rain boots and a rain suit, he jumps in, and then not even a minute later, he's like, Jesus, I'm getting soaked. What's going on here? He's like, what the hell? I'm like, dude, you just jumped in to a damn pit with a rain suit. You're not wearing waders, homie.
I love it.
Soaked, filling his shit up, and he's just like, I don't understand how I got so wet. I don't get it. I'm like, and that's just where it was funny as shit, and I was just like, it just makes sense if you don't think about it. He's like, I should be good.
Makes sense if you don't think about it.
It's waterproof.
Oh, that's awesome. Not quite waterproof, buddy. You gotta tighten those boots up. You gotta do a little more. That's funny.
Yeah, waders would have been the move if they had them. If not, you're not. You're pumping the pit out first, and then there's other stuff that you have to do. But just he was so dumbfounded why he was soaked. I'm like, oh my god,
man, tough.
Yep. So that being said, we're gonna close out this episode. You need to make sure you hit us up on all of our social media platforms. 3 Gig Sports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
the old TikTok.
Give us a listen, give us a like, do your sharing, do your thing.
Yeah, tell us where you think we were misinformed. Give us some props where we were right. Try to help you guys out. Try to give you some different perspective. We'd love it. Rio will be out for the next, 10 days or so. So the podcast should be more enjoyable for sure. With him being at home, playing with his joystick and video game, things like that.
And we forgot to mention that this particular episode is unofficially sponsored by Bud Light Chelada.
Bud Light Chelada today. Yeah, I thought I was going to have to do that proper 12 shot, so I was like, well, I need a meal in me.
I need a meal in you,
yeah. Is there, this weekend, is there anything going on that you want to bring up real quick? Saturday?
Oh, yeah. So Saturday, we touched base on this a few episodes ago. We have a benefit ride in Mason City for our like I said, I kind of mentioned a little bit, our longtime friend passing away. He got hit on his motorcycle in March, and the benefit is to help his wife and daughters with some financial needs that obviously pop up when unexpected stuff like this happens. Be starting at the Sears parking lot in Mason City, Iowa. Be there to register at 9:30 to start at 10, and be going from bar to bar and having some fun games in between. Come out and show your support. It really would. It would really help them.
Yeah, for sure. Show support. Even if you're just driving by, honk, give them a wave, let them know that you heard and you're thinking about it.
Yep.
It's a big deal. It's a sad situation, and just doing what we can to help them out there.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
good call there, Jimmer. Everybody, again, give the follows on the socials. Interact with us. We like to talk shit. Like I said, we're never wrong, just a little misinformed. But
I think we plan on getting on probably. I think we're leaning more towards Thursday here, and then we'll have our Stone Cold Locks, our upset picks, and all that for the weekend to come. I did not do so well on my Stone Cold Locks. I went. What's it look? I went 50%, 3 for 3. My upset picks were 2 for 2. So.
Yeah, those weeks are going to happen, especially earlier in the season.
It's
all right.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. I'll be okay.
Be okay.
I'll be all right.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. And this is 3 Gig Sports with Danny G and Jimmer. We out.
Boom.